Hargis. Sorry, I'm going to repeat that part because I just pushed record so that we know who we're talking about here. So I'll be introducing Ms. Shirley M. Hargis. Shirley brings over a decade of experience in China and Taiwan, foreign relations, and domestic politics. She uses her expertise, regional versatility of Russia, Africa, Latin America in the China affairs space. She is a professional level Chinese speaker, fluent, as well as fluent in 3 African languages. Throughout her professional experience, this has manifested, if you will, through publications, consulting, and intelligence work. She's a senior advisor for China at the Oxford Diplomatic Society at the University of Oxford. She's a contributor to Politico China Watch weekly newsletter and a trade specialist at the Trade Policy Exchange in Geneva, Switzerland. Hargis is the senior project lead at CRDF Global, spearheading their new China technology transfer and emergency technologies programs, to provide solutions to DOS and foreign countries about addressing essential national security matters. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Ms. Shirley M. Hargis.
Thank you, Alexandra. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to speaking to you all about what is an op-ed, what the process looks like, and injecting some of the experience that I've had working with Jeff Gedman of the Atlantic Council and contributing to the weekly Political China Watcher newsletter. If you could click next. So what is an op-ed? An op-ed is generally between 500 and 800 words, sometimes 1,000. Typically, the word count will depend on the outlet. So that type of information will be given up front. The 4 things you want to think about: objective. Your objective is what do you want? Are you trying to build a portfolio? Are you trying to have recognition? There's nothing wrong with that. Online presence, become a thought leader. Are you looking to sharpen your writing? Because with writing, we always want to get to a point where we can be a more elegant version of ourselves and are able to do that through words, the power of words. Are you looking to tie yourself to influencing policy down the line? 2, your audience. Whose attention are you trying to grab? What groups of people do you need to hear your message? Platforms. Think about what platforms you need to be on in order for your message to be heard. For example, Political China Watcher. If you want everyone to hear your perspectives about China on a global level, if you want the whole world to hear it, you are going to pitch to Politico, The Diplomat, several other spaces. And 4, likely to persuade the audience. Pathos, science, history, statistics, etc. Ethos, your personal story or someone else's. And you're giving a look to the future. Lastly, logos. Why you? Why must you write this particular piece? Move to the next slide. So before writing, I want to emphasize that it's never good to just jump into the writing. And I think it's important to ask yourself, am I writing about something that I can only write? So if the focus is you have something to say, you have to be able to draw those parallels between your lived experiences. You have to know the uniqueness of your lived experiences and be able to draw those parallels directly to the topic you are trying to speak about. And I know Christian will go much more deeply into that. Next. The art of persuasive writing. You always want to remember your audience and write how you speak. So let's review a few things. Intro or hook. Use a sense of urgency to grab your audience's attention so that right there, they're going to read the rest. It's like, oh, that was fascinating. I'm going to read the rest. Your problem. What is the problem that you are trying to solve or highlight that everyone cares or should care about? Your solution. You've told them the problem. How is it going to be fixed? Your strategy. Propose solutions that highlight what can be done right now to help. So folks are reading the urgency, they're not feeling helpless. They're like, okay, she's giving some suggestions, I can do this tomorrow. You're thinking about also making it personal to move emotions in people. I think when you write, you always want to think about moving emotions in people, drawing parallels again from your lived experiences to the piece that you are trying to write about. Next. how to pitch. You want to reel, Christian's here. You want to reel the editor in. So for example, you can go the email route, just a dry email. Your subject line should be a reflection of the timeliness or a reminder of when you met in person, if that's the case. So timeliness could be an idea. Let's strike while the iron is hot, or something like that. You know, someone's gonna, let me open this and see what they're talking about. The body, you want a 1 to 3 sentence hook, clear and concise. You want to hook it, sell it, and put a very clear point about why your readers should care. There's also some points I know that Christian will highlight. There's another school of thought about you can write your 1 to 2 paragraphs that tells them directly what your argument is going to be, in addition to the hook. You want to give that direct ask. Is the Washington Post interested in running this piece? And you want to give your short bio and contact information at the end of the email. And if you've written in this style before, you certainly want to put a link, because I'm sure that Christian will speak about this. There are a lot of folks that are, they write research papers. An op-ed is an entirely different style of writing. So it enhances, it helps if you've done it before. And I'll say this, the follow-up is important. You can send a message in the Twitter DMs as well. That's acceptable. But when you're writing out this email, straight into the point, follow-up is 90% of the game. It's very important to follow up. So let's give a quick format of what that might look like. So let's say go back, sorry. So for example, let's say 2 days later, follow up. You don't hear anything for 2 days. 4 days later, Twitter and email. You want to ping both options, the email and the Twitter. So just you want to keep following up, but clear and concise. Editors are busy, highlight yourself. And don't pitch multiple outlets at a time. There are competing ideas about this, but they want to know that they're getting the exclusive. So think of it that way. Better safe than sorry. Next. Models for op-eds and hot areas of focus. So models for op-eds, you could be the explainer. The story is everywhere. Here's what you need to know. You can come from that perspective. You could be the timely hot take. This big situation is happening right now. It just happened. I'm the expert. Here's how we respond. You could be the local/new audience. How does this particular issue impact our community, and why does it matter? Getting political. You could talk about an election, why this particular candidate is in a better position to serve the country compared to someone else. And let's talk about hot areas of focus. Typically, you'll see hot take on national, a national level story from a local angle. You'll hear about you'll hear a lot about conflict and controversy, and then you'll see a lot of timely hot takes based on quick things that are happening in the news that are going to stand for a period of time. And I do want to say that when working at Politico, what I've seen is you want to think about stories that'll live for more than a week, 2 weeks. That'll be based on the editor, but you want it to live for a couple of weeks. You don't want something that's going to just snuff out in a week. Next. Oh goodness, excuse me for the practices bit. Ignore that. Okay, so before submitting your draft, ask yourself, is this piece clear and concise? Have I made it clear what is at stake? Am I thinking about, does my piece follow the word count given to me by the outlet? You don't test that part. just write the words given that they've given you, that they've told to you. 2 twos, goodness. When I read this, do I hear myself speaking? And did I make this piece personal? Again, when you make it personal, it enhances the argument. It makes people, you want to move, again, emotions. You move the emotions, you're going to move the people. 6, have I substantiated my opinions, and did I use hyperlinks? Throughout your piece, you want to substantiate, and substantiating also includes hyperlinking throughout the piece. So folks, if they want to know more about what you said, they can click on it and get more information. Next, please. And this one, lead and end with manners. I don't want to say we'll be surprised how many folks miss these things, but if you editors are extremely busy. They're getting a lot of pitches all the time. So you want to getting to the point is important. So show appreciation, lead with the appreciation, and tailor it to the times. For example, you could say, hello, Mr. Carl. You could say, dear Mr. Carl, I hope that you are well and that you and your loved ones, or you could say you and your loved ones are well during these chaotic times, something like that, something along those lines. If you start that, it's clear and concise, it shows appreciation, mindfulness, and then you get to the point. You're giving the pitch, you're giving the hook, which is included in the pitch. You're going to give all the stuff that we spoke about earlier. And then you also want to end with, thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to hearing from you soon. So you've ended with appreciation, and at the same time, you've emphasized that you look forward to hearing back. So I think editors, well, I shouldn't say I think, I know the editors appreciate that. And lastly, this happens way too often. Don't tell someone that you need something from that they should work around you. You won't even get a reply at that point. And so lastly, there are other ways to say thank you. There's the thank you email. They get a lot of those. Everybody gets a lot of those. Then there's the handwritten card. I know we're in the pandemic and you don't know where everyone lives. You could have a box of thank you cards, handwritten notes, neat handwriting, include something meaningful that happened during the process, and then take a picture, put in a PDF and send it to them. I think that resonates much more deeply.
Great, thank you so very much, Shirley, for that comprehensive presentation. I'm going to go ahead and